Welcome to the Backyard Basketball Podcast, presented by the Ordinary Podcasting Network.
Liquid smoke.
I'm your host, Christian Steck, and I'm brought to you every week by our dear friend, BDC, Braden Deller-Coleman.
Not every week, but yes, every week we can. We are pleased to be here.
Pretty much every week. You know, sometimes there's travel, snowstorms. We try to do our best. But, you know, we also like to watch basketball, talk about hoops, and we either do it in a podcast or not a podcast. We're always talking about hoops. So here we are. I thought it'd be great. We're going to hit up a like and a dislike each. So far, a fifth of the way into the season. Things that we like, things that we don't like. And then we're going to talk about two wonderful players, Shai, Gilgeous-Alexander, and OG Annunoby. Let's rock it. Okay, first off, like, dislike. I thought, you know, we're about a fifth of the way into the season. Most teams have played kind of 14, 15 games, 82 game regular season. Kind of was listening to this podcast, honestly. Yeah, whatever. I get inspired all the time when I'm driving. I'm listening to different people talk about hoops too. And I just thought it was a great idea of kind of culminating something that you've seen that's a bit more of a broad scope, whether it's a team that you've liked, a player that you've liked, a certain moment that's happened in respect of the season for the NBA. Something that you've kind of enjoyed and something that, you know, you are kind of maybe disappointed in or dislike that you had higher hopes and it kind of hasn't gotten to that point. I can start us off. I kind of have one in the back pocket.
Hit me.
Something that on the like side that I found out recently. So this was a really, really cool stat. So up until 2013, 2016, there was only one player. Prior to that, no player had ever recorded this in history of scoring 45% of hitting 7+ threes a game. And that was Steph Curry. So no other player up until 2013 has averaged 45% over the course of the season hitting 7 or more threes.
And we're a fifth into the season.
And we're a fifth way into the season. So, I mean, obviously that can change. But for those two seasons, Steph Curry was the only player to do that. And we've seen, like, you know, this guy come into the league and completely revolutionize, like, shooting.
Oh, yeah. The whole game's changed.
So this season, okay, 2022, 2023, I know it's only a fifth of the way into the season. But as of Monday, there was 4 players. As of today, there's actually still only 3 players. One player just slipped. But there's technically, he's still right there. 4 players that are averaging 45% true shooting percentage of 3, hitting 7 or more threes a game.
Okay, who is it?
Okay, could you, if there's one off the top of your head, you could think.
Threes? Oh, gosh. Dame.
Nope.
Okay.
Close to Dame. Bain.
Luka.
Desmond Bain.
Oh, Desmond Bain. Wow. Is he
Desmond
one?
Bain from Memphis. He's been shooting 45.1%, taking 8.5 threes a game.
Oh, the Raptors passed on him. Most of the teams passed on him. That's brutal.
He's incredible.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
Kevin Huerter. He's having a hell of a season.
Hey, where is he now?
Sacramento,
hoping he went to Sacramento.
Yeah. Hey, don't poo-poo on Sacramento. Sacramento's been playing really well so far this year. You know what?
They got their
De'Aaron
45% man.
Is De'Aaron Fox is like killing it this year.
Well,
I think he could be an all-star, man.
I'm sure he will be. I know they've got some bonus. Like, it's good stuff, but you know they really got to prove it.
Okay, you want to hear it? You want to hear this though? Kevin Huerter, 52.6% shooting 7.5 threes a game. 52.6.
Wow, he's hot.
This
dude
is insane, man. He is blowing up. Michael Porter Jr., 48.3%.
Oh my
7.
God, that's
3
awesome. Oh, that's awesome.
And
Oscar's got him on his fantasy team. And, like having Michael Porter Jack or Junior back and healthy.
Lock that down.
God, lock that down.
Once Denver figures out their defense too, I think that is going to be like one of the most unstoppable teams in the league. And then this guy, he just slipped. Spencer Dinwiddie on Monday was 45.9%. Today he's 44.1. He's taking 7.13 threes a game. He's like really, doing well this year with Dallas.
That Dallas team is good for him, yeah.
4 players this year, man. And I know like probably a
Impressive.
lot of these guys by the end of the season, more volume, maybe that goes down, but like it's kind of a cool testament to see in the league like how much these players are
Wow,
really
it's fun.
honing in.
Well, and watch it increase only, right? Like
Yeah.
watch a tenth of the way into the season, we see even more. We see even more of that. We see even more players get into that realm. That's just the way that's the way the game's changed.
Yeah, man. And then it's always kind of, it drives that cursory mind of looking into the future as well, too, is how the game could continue to evolve. And, I always think about like the big men and, guys like Embiid and Giannis and pushing an envelope of like some level of dominance that requires the game to have evolved in like different ways. Like
Yeah, but the two guys you
I'm
just
curious.
like maybe not Giannis, but even Jokic or
Yeah.
Embiid, like they could potentially be in that realm of 45% plus,
Yeah.
and those
I
are
mean,
big.
yeah,
Sabonis
exactly.
could be, Miles Turner could be.
Yeah. I feel like the
Okay, that's
Lakers
your
are
like.
that's going
That's
to
your
get Miles
like.
Turner. That's my like. So what? Yeah. What
That's
about?
a great like. My like started off with the first guest that I had. I am so thrilled to see the Portland Trailblazers at a 10-4 record, fifth way into the season. Yeah, like there's so much room for that ship to sink, but if they can just continue this hot start, they actually could make a play at the deadline and be back into some realm of competition. Unlikely, maybe, who knows? But I really, really like it, and I like it for Dame. It's good energy, good momentum too. We talk a lot about momentum in the game, and I think for Portland just to be in, the last 3 seasons been absolutely miserable, injuries, just not, losses in playoffs. It's not making the playoffs. This is, yeah, I really like this for Portland.
It feels like constantly hitting that ceiling, but not being able to break through.
Well, so many
I'm
teams that's the
Yeah.
way, right? There's so many teams that get so close, or just on the cusp of making one more move to turn all their fortunes around.
But it's crazy. You find some of those teams are just gone so quickly too.
Yeah, yeah,
Like they just dissipate, and it's really kind of inspiring and interesting to see the perseverance of Portland reinventing itself. I'm
no
really
doubt.
surprised, and it's awesome to see too, because more often than not, I feel I see those stories about Shaden Sharp. I remember around the draft, they always talked about, well, Shaden hadn't played a lot, or they hadn't seen a lot of footage of Shaden, so there was a lot of mystery as to if this player could be
Yeah,
successful at that next level. And to see him playing as well as he is so far into the game is like awesome, just to have that validation that you don't have to have all of those videos, all of that proof in front of you to know if someone says that he has that quality to be
he's
able to
got it.
deliver, he's doing it.
Yeah, and a Canadian.
Yeah, man, we got so
Gotta
many
love
good
that.
Canadians. So many
Gotta
good
love
Canadians.
that.
What do you think of our Canadian like team? Like down the
Shaden
road,
Sharp, SGA,
Lou
even Corey
Dort,
Joseph off the bench, Kelly
Benedict
Olynyk,
Mathurin.
Benedict Mathurin, Lou Dort, Chris
Yeah,
Boucher,
yeah.
Steve Nash coached the damn thing. Like, yeah, it's fantastic. It's awesome.
RJ
It's
Barrett. Can
awesome. Yeah, my God, RJ Barrett.
so many. Yeah, it's competitive. It would be
It's fun.
awesome to
It's
see and
good.
see, man.
Oh, it would
It's
be
yeah.
awesome. An
Okay,
Olympics down the road would be a blast for Canada.
that'd be such a
Like, think
blast.
about where soccer's gone, right? It just blew
Yeah.
up. Soccer in Canada just blew up, and more kids are going to be playing soccer now because of it. Watch the increase of what happened when the Raptors won. There's a boom of energy around basketball, and now we've got even more young kids playing the game and actually making the show. And yeah, it's just awesome, super awesome. I mean, I'd love to see an actual franchise in another city again. That would be nice. But I'll wait. In the meantime, I'll take all that NBA talent and hope for a gold medal one day.
Yeah, man. Well, yeah, you keep pushing that talent. Maybe it's inevitable at some point down the road. Vancouver opens up shop again, or we get an opportunity like that. Maybe in Montreal, who knows? But um, on to dislikes.
Ugh.
I got a team.
Oh, yeah.
I
Don't say the
just
Lakers. Don't say
it's
the
not the
Lakers.
Lakers. It's not the
Speaking of
Lakers.
fortunes just turning.
Oh my god. But I feel so just kind of sick in the pit of my stomach about this team because of the direction we saw they were last season, what it's been so far this season. And more than anything, it's this kind of like energy that's efficated. I haven't watched too many games, but I have like seen some highlights of them play, and you can even tell in between the plays just the energy and reaction. I'm talking about the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm gonna stop beating around the bush. Having
He's
Rudy
not good.
Gobert traded to this team was a terrible decision. It
Ugh.
just was a terrible. It was just a
Ugh.
terrible decision. They've just been so bad. Um, Anthony Edwards, for whatever reason, never wants to pass the ball to Rudy Gobert. He won't even like make eye contact with him. There's reports of like Karl Anthony Towns after a loss going back into the locker room, talking with his best friend, almost like hysterical, like head just going all over the place. Like, I was a 2-time All-Star, right? I was a 2-time All-Star. Like, he was literally saying, that verbatim in this heat of exasperation from the intensity of obviously what my perspective seems to be is just incredible dysfunction. Like, there's no clear direction. There's no, seems like one voice and multiple parties that are trying to integrate in these like separate groups and plays to like win basketball games, and not having that cohesiveness and especially communication. It just like, it's really, I don't know. It's almost the point. It's kind of uncomfortable to watch. And it has me worried about just what, this means moving forward. But to think about like where they were in the playoffs last year, like going, toe to toe against Memphis, and they were so competitive. And for Anthony Edwards and the things he can do, the floor was like so much more open for him. And it seems really tricky just how cluttered it seems, that the space is now. But Chris Finch, he's the coach.
I'm trying to think who they're. Yeah, like Chris Finch is their system, and their point guard is like. I just feel like this team's
D'Angelo Russell.
D'Angelo Russell. Yeah, of course. They just seem unprepared for. And maybe it's just gonna take longer. Maybe it's gonna just take longer to figure it out. I worry about the Cat and Gobert thing. Those are both all stars, and they're both center, like true centers. I would think maybe Cat's more of a power forward, but in today's game, he really fills up the center position. So it's quite a clog up there. We like the Twin Tower thing. I love when it works, like in Cleveland. But
one thing I heard recently that I thought was kind of interesting: Cat in a Knicks uniform.
Huh.
Now, I think my perspective would be, I feel like at that point, I don't know. I feel like Tom Thibodeau's days are numbered. He just seems a little bit.
You've been saying that for a few years now.
He feels a bit ancient to what how the game is played now. Like it's a little too rigid, a little too old.
Oh yeah,
and
for sure.
I don't know. They could use a facelift, and having Brunson and Cat as kind of a baseline, I don't know. I think would be something.
maybe RJ for Cat, RJ and a few other things for Cat, and Minnesota can turn their fortunes around. Who knows? Okay, here's my dislike.
RJ, Rudy, Anthony. I like it. Okay, go on.
My dislike is the fucking drama that is ever persistent with the Brooklyn fucking Nets. I don't want to talk about Kyrie. We're not going to. He's still suspended, so we should be suspending our conversations around him. But I'm so sick and tired of hearing reports saying the Nets are frustrated by Ben fucking Simmons. I don't want to hear that anymore. Like,
no, you went there.
I did. I'm just like, so they figured out one guy. One guy wanted to trade. The next guy is a fucking lunatic, and then the next guy, he's injured or he doesn't want to play, or they like it's this and it's that. They fire their coach. They didn't even give their coach a real good opportunity. It's just fucking endless, and they're never going to win a basketball game if this is the culture or the air around this basketball team.
I will say, I think since Jacques Vaughn has taken over as interim coach, I think they're right around 500. They're like 4-4 or maybe 5-4, something like that.
Well, Ben Simmons doesn't have more than 11 points all season. That's the highest total he's put up.
Is that on coaching or is that on Ben Simmons?
Well, I'm not blaming the coach. This guy's a first overall pick. 11 points is what he's topping out at. This is not good.
No, it's
I dislike that.
yeah, man. I don't know. Like, I don't know what he. I just see him kind of being a role player that maybe supplements himself in some resurgence some point down the road. Is like this, semi-defensive savant. He could be a Andre Iguodala. We could see, like maybe that's his upside in the future. And you need a player like that to win a championship.
But dude, they got lit up by the Kings, 153 to 121.
Because the Kings are good. The Kings are actually good. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I dislike it.
I dislike it too. And you know what? I honestly dislike it for Kevin Durant because this is part of his own doing. But I want Kevin Durant to be successful. I like him. I love Kevin Durant as a player. I know you do too, and he's amazing talent. And
yeah.
It sucks, irrespective of his decision or however this has unfolded, that, these years of opportunity to really kind of go for it, it's not, being most optimized, I guess. Right. So I don't know. It's a shit show, man. I feel like you're just happy if you're the Brooklyn Nets, if you make it through the season with your head up.
This episode of the Backyard Basketball Podcast is brought to us by Busy Bee Vegan Skincare. Busy Bee is an all-natural skincare line dedicated to healthy, vegan, plant-based skincare and overall wellness. They offer a selection of handcrafted body scrubs, butters, and washes that not only make your skin glow, but smell amazing. Their unique all-natural scents include gingerbread, ruby grapefruit, caramel cake, and morning latte. So why not treat your skin to something fresh and all-natural? Head over to shopbusybeevegan.com today. And as a special bonus, Busy Bee is offering listeners of this podcast a 15% discount on your first order with the code OrdinaryPodcasts. Okay, let's talk about OG Annunoby. Is he the best defensive player in the league right now?
So we're looking at what, like, compared to... No, I don't feel like Bam has been playing as well. Giannis, I don't know what his defensive numbers are.
Draymond, Giannis. Like, what's OG averaging? 6.4 rebounds, 2.5 steals a game. He's playing close to 40 minutes a night.
Wow. His durability is, I think he's one of the most impressive players in the league. That kind of endurance. It's LeBron-esque. It really is.
Yeah, he just seems like he's come out to really step it up this year. It's so funny because the last kind of few years he's been a bit lesser than expected, but it seems like his focus has been trying to get his offensive game going. It's so nice to see him just like really dig down and focus on the defensive end. The Raptor system is all built around defense. So, the energy having Scotty around, I mean, there's a guy too who's taken a bit of a step back in the last few weeks, but watching OG really like fill into what we expect him to be is kind of fantastic. You worry about guys like that because it's so quickly they can fall off the cliff.
Or it could go sideways really quick in the sense of like, I don't want to be here anymore, which I know, it's kind of interesting to see a season ago, right at the trade deadline, he was our asset piece, that we were talking about pairing with Chris Boucher and seeing what we could get out there. That was circulating in the media. OG would have seen that. This was something he had to deal with over the course of the summer. And it's obvious he's come back into this season with a level of assertiveness that I am a valuable proponent of this team. and I have a place on this team that is essential with the collective group if we're going to, make a run and win a championship. And it's crazy. If he can play at this level and you're getting a level of consistency, say from Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam, Gary Trent Jr. is putting in the work, our supporting cast, Danilo Banton, Kem Birch, Koloko. And then if Scotty, can find later on in the season an opportunity where he can step in and really shine and recognize how to share that as well too collectively. This is a whole, it's almost like this unit that is so flexible. In my eyes, I look at, the best teams in the East right now are the Boston Celtics and Milwaukee Bucks. And that Toronto Raptors team that I just said right there can contend with those teams and win a series, I think, in the playoffs against either of those two teams.
Ooh-wee. Yeah. I mean, I think so too.
It's the consistency. You need to see that. Like what OG's doing right now. Like we have to see this throughout the whole season. I mean, maybe not playing at this crazy of a level, but when the moment shines, you need to perform and be there and deliver. You're doing what you need to do. And then with that, in him doing what he is doing, he is our defense savant on the team, and he's going to shine the most. So for that award and knowing the success of what the Raptors could be, it would be hard not to recognize him as being one of those, say, top 3 options for Defensive Player of the Year. Like real.
Yeah, just got to, stay healthy, because OG does have a bit of a injury-prone history. Yeah, and 2, like lock in even more. He's got to be. They got to find even more consistency, like you're saying. They are 6-1 at home.
We play well at home.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm all for. I'd vote. I'd vote OG for Defensive Player of the Year. Still super early, but as of right now, that he's locked in. It's nice to see.
Oh, for sure, 100%. Especially, I think if the Raptors finish top 4 in the East, I could see them even finishing top 3 in the East. I see this team being better than Philly, filling that out. And if they do that, then it's like boom, you got it. But another player who I think could get a lot of astounding accolades this year, I really want to talk about, and it's so cool because I think that this is our best Canadian player we've ever had.
Ever had?
Ever.
Wow.
Ever. I think Shai Gilgeous, because there's no R in there. I'm trying to pronounce it correctly. I hope I did. Alexander.
What do you mean no R? What do you mean no R?
There's no R. There's no R in Gilgeous. It's not Gildress. There's no.
Whoever said there was.
I kind of thought there used to be.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Gilgeous-Alexander. There we go.
What? You put an R in there?
No, I did it.
I think there's like 3 silent R's.
I always think there's a silent R everywhere. So it's out to get me.
Always.
I think he's the second best player in the 2018 draft.
Nice.
This was Luka Doncic's year. We have Trae Young in this draft. We have I just pulled it up here. Michael Porter Jr., Kevin Huerter's in this draft. Jaren Jackson Jr., DeAndre Ayton is in this draft.
Goodness.
I think Shai.
My goodness.
I think Shai is the second best player in this draft. I think he's the best Canadian we've ever had. I think this season is his coming out party. This guy is he's going to be an all-star. He's going to be an all-star. Maybe they give him most improved player. Like he'll be the same thing as John Morant. But it's just, and the more that I was thinking about this, so before I even get to the stats, the more I was thinking about this. So think about Shai's journey. So first season, he gets drafted by the Clippers in 2018. That was a playoff team. Yeah. And they were a good team. They were a really good team. And then that offseason, they did the trade. Kawhi Leonard went over there and Paul George went over there. And Shai was part of that trade with the Thunder to go to OKC. So his second season, he is with Chris Paul. And that is when they go in the playoffs again. So his first 2 seasons, he's already in the playoffs. And he goes with Chris Paul. So he's being taught, led that whole season by Chris Paul. And this is an amazing year for Chris Paul where he learns about the true potential of his leadership that he takes through into Phoenix and makes that team be as successful as they are. He bonds this team where it could have completely went. We were just thinking to ourselves, I remember when that trade first happened, oh, this can be a throwaway year maybe for Chris. Maybe like he just rests himself for the further longevity down the road of his career. But no, they go to the playoffs to go toe to toe against the Houston Rockets. Then after that, he leaves. And then for those last 2 years, he's been on this crappy OKC team where they've just had to slog for wins. There's this kind of anticipation of tanking that, the media talks about it, whether it's true or not within the league, it kind of taints the whole atmosphere of the space and how you mentally prepare. And I remember like hearing things about with Shai, like some people speculating after the season, if it doesn't go well, does this person get really, unhappy with his situation? And you've brought in this new guy, this new talent, who I can't think of his name right now off the top of my head, he's out for the year.
Chet Holmgren.
Chet Holmgren, he's gonna be a great player. I'm excited to see him. But yeah, he's out for the year. We haven't seen him play. And you're wondering, it's like, okay, well, you're going to build that guy up. And with Shai there, are they too far apart in their development? And it's just, I don't know, man. Like, 32 points per game. He's averaging right now a 50-40-90.
It's insane. I just pulled up these stats, like the 32.3 points per game. Fun fact, he was not drafted by the Clippers.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He was drafted by
Charlotte,
and then traded to
the Hornets
to the Clippers, and draft day. And then Miles Bridges went to the Hornets. But yeah, dude, like this, it's great. I mean, I do actually think he's in the perfect kind of prime of what this is his
5th year, I think.
He's really coming into an all-star form, and 2018, I think he was drafted. So this is, okay, right. This will be his fifth year,
I think, yeah.
Chet Holmgren, you got Lou Dort. Like, this team is young. They're ready to go. And the energy, if that all-star can, like, the position of it being a point guard, it's, man, this OKC team. I just want to be at the place where we can really look back at Sam Presti's career and go, you freaking wizard. You wizard. You took what was supposed to be, like devastation of watching super teams formed around you and then turning, the next level of NBA stardom into this ridiculous OKC team. Oh man. Yeah. Shai. Props to Shai.
It's so
awesome.
good, man. It's so good. And it's just awesome to see, and another Canadian player really stepping into his own. I think one of the things, watching him play, especially this season, that excites me the most is when he gets into the paint, and he is a wizard in his own right on how he can shimmy and shake and really just get around people. He's so slippery. And it kind of reminds me in that same respect you see of Ja Morant. And he can put up such a high level of points. His passing's gotten a lot better. Good decision making. He's just like, the package is coming together. It's cool, man.
Who did you say were the 2 top teams in the East?
Boston and Milwaukee.
How many minutes are in a basketball game? This is quick questions segment. 48 minutes.
48.
Yeah. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander put up 39 points on Milwaukee and played 46 minutes.
That's our guy.
That's stupid.
Dude, I want to say jersey, man.
That's
wow.
Unbelievable. Wow. And then the nice thing for us Raptors fans, he only put up 20 against us. But man, I think they still won though. That's the crazy thing. Wait, are we still in the likes section? Because I just want to keep gushing about Shai.
Well, I mean, we can do about that all season because I don't think this is going anywhere, and it's also kind of interesting in that respect that this is not going to be one of those teams in the Wembanyama sweepstakes. I don't foresee that with OKC.
Wouldn't that be crazy?
They're gonna,
Bye, Chet,
they might not be a play-in team, but oh my god, oh for sure, for sure.
Yeah, but dude, they might have one of the first round picks from whoever's going to be at the bottom.
I know, it's great. Like, and then you got to wonder at some point, you got to package some of those picks once this team really starts to develop, and then you get those, supporting pieces. You build this thing organically. But all the resources are available to you. You can do whatever you choose, and you've got your like gold. Like you literally mine hit the rock, boom. There's the gold. It's Shai. This is your number one guy, and you build around this. Like
they bring in Bradley Beal. They bring in
that would be.
Dude,
whoa.
I know.
Whoa. Okay. Now we're talking.
It's talking, but we're actually talking about BetStamp, dude. It's time for our pick of the week presented by BetStamp. BetStamp is your one-stop shop for line shopping, bet tracking, and sports betting odds. You, Christian, would never just go with the first price if you were shopping for anything. So why settle for the first odds you find when betting? BetStamp changes that. The streamlined and easy-to-use app allows you to find a wide spectrum of odds for any bet. It then makes it easy to track your bets in one place. You can set alerts in case the line changes, and you can see what your friends are doing with their bets, and even some celebrity bettings as well. Okay, so our pick of the week today, Chris. Wait, let me do that again. Our pick of the week today. So our pick of the week is the Milwaukee Bucks or the Boston Celtics tomorrow, Friday night. Who are you taking? I can see right now. Okay, let's try to hold on. I got to do this one more time. Let's just pause this. All right, Chris, our pick of the week is between the Boston Celtics and your other newfound favorite team, the New Orleans Pelicans. They play tomorrow night. They play tonight. Who are you picking to win that game?
They're playing each other?
No, they're playing. What do you mean they're? All right, it's time for our pick of the week presented by BetStamp. BetStamp is your one-stop shop for line shopping, bet tracking, and sports betting odds. You would never just go with the first price if you were shopping for flights, so why settle for the first odds you find when betting? BetStamp changes that. The streamlined and easy-to-use app allows you to find a wide spectrum of odds for any bet. They make it easy to track your bets in one place. You can set alerts in case the line changes and learn what bets your friends and even some celebrity bettors are making. So, Christian, our pick of the week. This is our first BetStamp pick of the week. Who have you got?
So we're picking a game. It's going to be on Tuesday this week. It's between the Brooklyn Nets and the Philadelphia 76ers. And I was going to tell you that I was going to pick the 76ers, but I just looked up. And now Embiid is out 2 games with a sprained foot. So there's no way I'm picking the Philadelphia 76ers that got, plus odds to win this bet, by the way, that has Harden, Embiid, and Tyrese Maxey out. So I'm going to pick the Brooklyn Nets.
You're taking the Brooklyn Nets?
Because it's a surefire shot.
All right, and I can see right now on BetStamp the best odds are from Bet99, which is way better than the odds at, it looks like, worst odds on this game would be BetVictor at a minus 350. So if you want to join us this week, our bet is on the Brooklyn Nets.
On the
taking
Brooklyn
out
Nets.
The Embiid list, the Philadelphia 76ers. Is Embiid going to be like this all season?
Hopefully not. Maybe you'll learn anything from Anthony Davis as of late.
Oh, let's hope so. All right, well, you can download the BetStamp app for free, and please use the code ORDINARY when you set up your account so that they know we sent you. Always get the best value when betting. Choose BetStamp. All right, Chris. Let's do it again next week.
Let's do it. Look forward to it, man.
All right, thanks everybody for tuning in. You can find this podcast anywhere you get your podcasts.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram. And we'll catch you next week.